got it. You got it. And we got tissues on deck, okay? She's nervous, y'all. Welcome to another episode of the Cry But Don't Quit Show. I'm your host, India Miles, and today we have another guest with us who's going to share her self-worth challenge and what she can do about it. Go ahead, introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. Hi, India. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Brittanee King, and I'm super excited to be here today.
Awesome. Go ahead and share your challenge with us. What's going on?
So the thing about it is that I've been through some pretty deep and emotional challenges and some traumatic things. And my challenge is I carry these things and I never let them go. And as a result, I blame myself for all of the things that's happened, even if I had no control over what's happened in my life, right? So the thing that I feel or I know that I need most help with is how to move forward with life, aside from, the things, the traumatic things that that happen with you, because I also find myself reliving these things. So this is why it's hard for me. I'm pretty bubbly outside. Just like, if you know me, my friends, they be like, you're not shy. I'm like, girl, put me in front of a camera and tell me to talk about my story, and my demeanor changes. And most of it is because I am reliving these things. So my question is more so, how can I move forward with releasing these things and stop holding on to them?
Okay, so for those in the back, she's gone through, and you guys got to follow her on social media. She is under strict instructions not to share what the traumatic event is. So if you do not follow her on social media, you should. She's got a great interview with the local news that really shares what happened. But I did not want, that's not what the Cry But Don't Quit show. I don't want somebody falling apart on the show. That's just not of interest to me. What she's saying as a challenge is that she's blaming herself for things that were not her fault. How many of us have done that? How many of us have blamed our fault because somebody's son decided to mistreat us, or because some boss just decided to target us? Something that was not our fault. For whatever reason, her makeup is, I deserve it. That's what I'm worth. And for her to try to share it and to give it space and to give it words, it's causing her to relive it, okay? So first and foremost, I want to honor you by anyone that's watching and saying, me too. You didn't do that to yourself. That came from the environment that told you it was your fault. Somebody, grandma, mom, dad, sister, somebody made it your fault when you did something wrong. And if that's done to a child long enough, then they start believing they deserve it. So one of two things happen. They carry it into adulthood, and it defines them, and it becomes their identity, or they overperform to run from those emotions. Who's here overperforming? Who's here saying, I'm not worthy unless I'm doing 20 things today? Same problem, different outcome. Same problem. Somebody, when you were growing up, made you not feel worthy. They didn't have to say it, they made you feel it. So that's not something that and that's why we didn't want to talk about the traumatic incident on my show, because that's not where the journey began with this. It just is amplified because lifes. There were choices that were made. There were decisions in her life that happened before that. And I wanted to target, how do we undo that first, so that then you can go get your trauma-informed therapy, your EMDR. If you never express anger, if you never express trauma, you relive it every time you think of it, and your body doesn't know the difference. Not my show, not my ministry. I just wanted to put that PSA out there. So when it comes to blaming yourself, when it comes to feeling like it is your fault and you're wrestling and you're ruminating with 10 different reasons why you could have done something different, you should have done something different, maybe you shouldn't have worn that, maybe you shouldn't have driven down that street, maybe you shouldn't have befriended this person. If you find yourself in that journey, the practice of mindfulness every day to reverse engineer your entire identity begins right now. Every time those intrusive thoughts come in your mind, You literally have to train your brain, just like you have to train your body if you want to get in shape, just like you have to train your mouth if you don't want to cuss somebody out. You have to train your mind to say, that's not real. You got to say it out loud. That's not me. I didn't deserve that. There's nothing I could have done to avoid that. Not my work to pick up. That's their fault. Begin to blame the right party. If you stop blaming yourself, that means that blame has to go somewhere. You can give it to Billy. Billy will take it. Okay? But yeah, how's that land for you?
Yeah, that actually feels really good. And I noticed that I haven't done it for this, what we talked about particular, but I noticed that if I redirect my thoughts for other things, it helps me navigate through. But just hearing you say it like that, it actually gives me a sense of relief.
Yeah, because the blame is so loud that you don't ever get to hear yourself say it out loud.
And barely anybody else either. They be more worried about if I got paid or not from what happened. I mean, you know, the questions that they ask when you do speak about it.
Insensitive.
Yeah, that word.
Words are
Inconsiderate.
Words
Yeah.
are life-changing when you are battling blame, when you are blaming yourself, when you can affirm yourself by saying the words out loud and you hear it and then you have a tribe around you that says that back. Eventually it sinks in. It's not going to do it right away. You've got a long road of healing and recovery in front of you. The point of this show is to hone in on, if you had to measure where your self-worth is right now and where you want it to be in a year from now, you can begin that journey for free. Don't need years of therapy. You don't need to join a support group. You don't need to hire a coach. You've got to make the decision to do the opposite of what your brain is telling you to do. If your brain tells you every time you have these thoughts to blame yourself, then you're in control of at least experimenting. When I was going through that journey of blame, I experimented with what would it look like if I tried, I just want to see what will happen. I was not completely sold out of whether or not it would work. But I had tried all this. I've tried years of staying up at night, or I'll get in an argument, a back and forth with somebody, and then I'm unpacking the conversation. 3 days later, why am I still in the argument? They done moved on. They done went to sleep. I'm over here literally unpacking what I could have said, what I should have said, how I could have said it better. That does not have to change out here. It has to change in here. And the more you exercise that, if you choose to do it, free will, you can choose to live like this. You can choose to say, you know what, part of that was my fault. That's fair. But to take on all the blame means that not only are you not giving space to forgive yourself for what happened, but you're also not giving space to forgive that person. All consuming, much bigger issues come out of you pointing blame. When we can truly forgive ourselves and say, you know what, that sucked and that happened, and it was yesterday. I didn't know better, or even if I did, I'm human, and move forward into a new chapter and vow not to do it again, then you're better for having had that experience. And then you find gratitude, and then your joy returns, and then it's all the easier to forgive those awful people in the world. But if you are carrying that blame with you, then you are still carrying that bitterness. And it's just a dark cloud everywhere you go. And then you can't even share your testimony in a way that can really educate kids or inspire women or do some impactful work because it's so heavy, it's looking for an outlet. Okay? And that's what you're going to learn with breath work and trauma-informed therapy and EMDR, which I strongly advise you to do. It is not an overnight journey. You will feel better for 3 months and you'll feel awful for 6. That means you're healing. And I'm sorry for the Instagram grammars that have told you that, oh, I went to therapy and everything's all better now. No, therapy feels worse before it feels better. Right now you're functioning. You're functioning. That does not mean you're well, but you're functioning from a place of, that fight or flight or, all the things. But what's more important is that you take ownership over what happened to you. That will free you from the emotional bondage of the bitterness, of the self-defecation, like just piling it on yourself. And how much does that shape your decisions, in every area of your life of like, can I trust myself? How is it not going to happen again if I didn't see it happen that time? What can I do differently the next time? And then you're just miscontrolling. I got to make everything perfect so that never happens again. That's exhausting. How's that land for you?
Yeah, it lands right on the market. Definitely, I know for sure, moving forward, I want to start counseling. This is something that I've been like wanting to do for a long time. So I know for sure I have to. I haven't really looked into the EDMR counseling yet, but that's something that I will. I have been working out and eating different and like getting up at 4 in the morning and praying and stuff. So that's the thing that I've been doing for myself. But I definitely think I'm at the point where I know I need to seek professional assistance and guidance with this.
There's nothing more taxing for the people that do the work on this end to see someone right there at the brink. And then I'll see you in 6 months or I'll see you in a year, because you will see me in 6 months. And I'm like, how's it going? Give me an update. There's nothing more taxing to our spirits to want it for you. And I know what comes up when you're on the brink of change, and all the friends you're probably going to lose, all the family members you're going to upset, all the I don't know why I want to call them side chicks, but the men in our lives that are telling you, oh, girl, you don't need that. Oh, you're fine. You're strong. That doesn't get to be your worth anymore. The thing about EDMR is that it allows you to relive those same experiences and change the narrative. So as you are experiencing the emotions, as you are taking yourself back 10 years or 15 years or 5 years old, it gets to look at that situation and for you to take control over it instead of it taking control over you. Okay? It allows you to control those emotions and that breath and be so aware in it that you're picking out, oh, wow, I looked at myself as a victim. I actually was stronger than I thought in that. It's an amazing experience, but it sucks. And it's supposed to. And change is supposed to hurt. I'm entirely over this narrative that you change your life and you make more money, you find your dream man, you find your ideal business idea. No, for at least 5 years, it sucks. You're poor, you're single. The only boo you got is Jesus. That's it. If we created a realistic expectation, then you'd know, oh, wow, I'm actually making progress. Okay? So I want to thank you for your courage, for being here. Let's give her a round of applause. I know that took a lot of bravery.
It did. It really did.
And before I let you go, I want you to share a little bit about your jewelry business and how you've channeled.
Yes, of course. So
you just got to speak up because they can't hear you.
Oh, yes. Is this better? Okay. So, of course, my name is Brittanee King, as I stated before, and I'm the owner and founder of Envious Me, and number one source for all things jewelry. We focus on timeless, self-expression, also bold, but yet dainty. Right now, we have a partnership for Juneteenth at the Miller Outdoor Theater with Wells Fargo. So we'll be out there assembling and making jewelry on spot, on hand. And the event is totally free, so if y'all don't have anything to do for Juneteenth, ask me about the link. I got it for y'all. I also partner with different schools and ISDs and go into the buildings with the students and teach them how to make jewelry and assembly. I have a whole bunch more coming up, but since it's not with dates and times, so I'm not going to talk about it yet.
Thank you.
But they can follow me on Instagram.
Please follow her on Instagram.
And
she'll be collaborated on her interview if you guys follow the Cry But Don't Quit show. And I couldn't help, as I'm watching you list off all these amazing things, I could not help but think how much more impactful you're going to be when you do your work. When you slow down, clear your schedule, and just make it about you for the next year, the next few years, not about the money, not about a man, not about, your responsibilities, but really let me just take a year out of my life to make it about me. You already have, the reach. Now let's, make it so that it's not about saving others, but, you're coming there fully awakened in your healing so that when you talk about it, you can prevent it, you can advocate for it, you can educate on it. Okay?
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
All right. Let's take a